seem to be okay. Do I need to? I did it again. Dang it. Hmm. For some reason, every time I switch over, it my upload drops down to nothing. Oh, cool. It OBS disconnected and reconnected. Cool. That's fun to have happen for my connection to just randomly crap out for no reason. Oh well. I've gotten you. I accept it. It's gonna happen. It happened. It's done. Done. Hi, I'm Sean. On. Yeah. Yeah. So streaming on a Thursday night seemed to work pretty well last week. We'll see. Hopefully, it continues to work well. So we're doing it again. Once again, I'm taking a look at a fairly recently released TTRPG. Hopefully, you can see that from the title of this. But if you can't, the game is Shadowdark by the Arcane Library. But I guess, get into that in a minute because I just want to before doing anything else. Regardless of, I'm gonna regret this. I'm gonna regret looking at the Twitch stats, but I'm gonna. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Whatever. So anyway, if you're watching this in the archive, hi. But yeah, today, June 8th. It's June 8th as I'm recording this. June 8th, 2023. Today's been a good day for several reasons, which have nothing to do with this or what I'm doing or anything, even my personal life, honestly. Just good day in general for, like, people, the world, at least the United States, and for two reasons. And I'm going to talk about this for a little bit because why not? No one's here to tell me not to. And reason one, this morning, Pat Robertson, who, if you don't know, old bigoted asshole on the 700 Club, just religious bigot, whatever, horrible guy. I think done a whole bunch of said and done and pushed a whole bunch of horrible things. Big one, not even recent, honestly, given how long ago it happened. But he blamed like 9/11 is he put the blame for 9/11 on like gay people existing and feminism. So that's the kind of person we're dealing with. But he's not around anymore. He has ceased to be. He is of interest now only to historians. So that's nice. That's fun. That's a pleasant thing to be aware of. I'm sorry. You say things like people try to say like, oh no, don't speak ill of the dead, but like, he's kind of a horrible person and probably caused like active harm to any number of people. Maybe not active harm, but he's definitely caused harm to people. So yeah, not feeling too bad that he's no longer with us. But two, and this came out only like maybe a couple hours ago, actually. Like I went to eat dinner a little before 7 o'clock, and by the time I came back, about an hour later, the news had already broken. So, Donald Trump, the former president of the United States, has apparently been indicted for that whole thing of, oh yeah, I maybe kind of sort of stole some classified documents that I took some documents with me that I definitely should not have taken with me, and hey, wow, he's like potentially actually facing actual legal consequences for this, which is like, I'm amazed it took you this long to get to this. I'm amazed it took this long to get to this point, and it's probably a bit of an indictment of the justice system in this country as it is, because I'm pretty sure that, you know, any other human being in this any other person living in this country if they had been caught in something similar in a similar situation. And don't talk to me about like other people, but like, hey, wow, if they had done what he did and responded the way he responded, that they would not have been allowed to, continue to wander, just go free, do whatever they want, do whatever. Not they're allowed. Just yeah, they would not have been permitted to go about their lives like this. I can't imagine they would have. I imagine they would have at very least been told, like, put under house arrest or something. But it happened. We'll see. Hope maybe something will come of this. I'd like to hope that something comes of this because it's admit it, like the man. And of course, some people are going to come to his leap to his defense. Oh no, it's a horrible da 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 da. Oh, it's this. He's crying about it on his own private social media network and whatever. But anyway, thankfully the look. Hopefully, oh, I guess a third thing. This is more specifically for folks in Alabama. Apparently, the Supreme Court ruled in favor of or overturned some ruled against the state of Alabama, I think, in a voting rights case. 5-4, ruling that I think it was something like vote dilution, whatever, based on race or something, violates the Voting Rights Amendment. It's like, yay, small mercies, thank God. That doesn't necessarily impact me, but hey, it's good to know that well, not exactly appeal it. It sucks that it's like it's such a narrow decision, but like it's something. And hey, there are still rules. You don't just get to. And of course, I think like Thomas voted again, said no, but Clarence Thomas is Clarence Thomas. He's gonna, yeah. But anyway, so that happened. So good things, generally good things all around. Yay, happy day. So anyway, we're here to talk about, we're done enough talk about that. We're gonna talk right now about why Bright? Why is Bright? We are going to talk real quick for a little bit about the game Shadowdark, which is a lovely game that kickstarted recently from the Arcane Library. Find a link. There's a link to them right there. There's a link to their website. You can also find them on Drive-Thru. They make, I think this is I don't even know how many people are actually in. Yeah, this is like basically a one-person company. It's great, which is really cool, and she's produced a lot of content, honestly, for this, for 5th edition. Yeah, she's published some published at least a couple adventures, and finally she decided to actually publish, and I think maybe done some OSR stuff. I think earlier, but I don't know. And finally decided to release a kickstart and fund and create the RPG. This kind of OSR RPG Shadowdark, and we'll kind of be getting into that in a bit. But apparently it was like all the game itself was all done and finished and put together before the Kickstarter campaign even started, which is really cool. Which is really kind of cool because it basically meant that okay, as soon as the Kickstarter ends, we can literally just send out a bunch of PDFs and stuff to all the backers, which is nice. Admittedly, I feel like it's kind of going about a Kickstarter backwards because like isn't the whole point of a Kickstarter to raise money so you can make the product in the first place? But whatever. Point is, hey, we had this thing ready to go. Anyway, so yeah, this is the cover. This is obviously the cover for. I did back the Kickstarter. I mean, if that's not obvious. But I did back the Kickstarter after there is a there's quick start rules on Drive Through RPG. The actual Shadowdark rulebook I don't think has been released on Drive Through yet, which I find interesting. But and oh jeez, I'm gonna regret this again. Oh jeez, did it again. Bright light. But you can find. Let's see. There we are. The Arcane Library. There they are. There's their Drive-Through RPG page where you can find all their stuff. Most main point here is the Shadowdark Quick Start rules, which include, it includes it's two books, a quick one for players, one for the GM, as well as I think. Let's see. There's a form fillable PDF. I have character sheet. There's a first dungeon that can cover up to first to third level with a map for virtual tabletops. All the content you'd need to play up to third level at least, like third level, with the core classes that are really come with the game with rules for making characters as well as for making your own custom stuff, doing your own custom stuff. And I believe, yeah, there's 8 pre-generated characters with art. So they put a lot of work was put into that, and that was just the hey. That was just the hey, check this out. We're gonna hey, check this out. Doesn't this look cool? And we're gonna if you like this, maybe back the Kickstarter so we can make it into a full game. So very cool, very neat, nice, very neat. And yeah, I've been going for like 15 minutes, almost 20 minutes now. Let's dive in. Woo. Whoop. All right. So again, lovely art, very nice, very much digging it. Again, I like a lot of the art in this book, even though I'm not. This is maybe not. Admittedly, I've definitely seen there's definitely art books out there with. There's definitely RPG books out there that have better art. I think Free League books come to mind, but still the art in this is generally pretty good, and it's certainly evocative and gives you a good vibe of what's here. If I do have a complaint, it is a very minor one. I kind of wish that the name of the game was on the cover somewhere, because as much as I like this art, and it is wonderful art, this is pretty gnarly looking thing that's just very cool. You know, I'd kind of, I'm weird. I like games where I have a name, I couldn't find an actual cover for the game with the title. So yeah. But anyway, like I dig. I feel like this is this. Yeah, this is like literally just a. This is literally like what you would get if from the actual if you had an actual copy of the book, an actual physical copy of the book. It would the cover would look like this, and you go open up the first page, and hey, wow, here's reference tables. Like, okay, we have here's all the weapons you can pick up, which are again not extensive, but it's an OSR game, so it's a little more free form, a little less rules heavy than more modern RPGs, more modern stuff like D&D, like 5th edition. But anyway, here's a quick list of all the weapons available along with their cost, what type of weapon it is. We got, it's either a melee weapon or a ranged weapon, or both, obviously. Range increments, which are like, let's see, I think it's close, near, and far. So ranges are a little more abstracted in this so you can potentially do it more theater of the mind style. Obviously damage and various properties though, and there's the obviously these abbreviations, they do mean stuff like V means versatile, 2H means two-handed, F is finesse, TH is thrown, not that difficult. Armor, there's literally 3 types of actual armor, potential 5 if you count mithril variants, plus shield. It's really really slimmed down and simplified stuff, because we'll get into why in a bit. Again, quick rules reference right at the front. That's really nice, where you can just glance at it. Quick bit of like, okay, here's some DCs for stuff. Here's again distance and movement, various movement stuff, rules. Here's rules for how morale works with monsters and whatnot. Here's how things like how a focus spells work. Here's how dying works, which is a lot more. Which, on the one hand, it's probably a lot nicer than a lot of early editions of D&D, where it's like probably like, yeah, no, you hit 0 hit points, you die. Probably a lot nicer than a number of other OSR games where it's, hey, yeah, you hit 0, you die. I mean, at least this way it's like, cool, like, okay, you get D4 plus your con modifier in rounds, and hey, every turn you get to roll a D20 and maybe recover. It's nice. And here's how stabilizing works. Somebody has to do this, and if it works, you stop dying. Yay. All right, moving on. And obviously here's the credits page again. Kelsey Dion, I think. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Basically, yeah, the person who wrote, designed, laid out, just a lot of work. My God, and everything else is the other credits are all literally just art. Okay. Trade dress, sure. Character sheet, sure. But it's all art stuff and layout, and not even layout. It's all, here's all the art these people did, and it's all wonderful art. I'm not gonna lie. And artists, they do a lot of stuff. They deserve to be credited, especially in RPGs, in RPG rulebooks, because that's something you don't really see a lot of. I feel like that's something that used to be a little more common, but you don't really see that with modern stuff, especially from Wizards of the Coast, which kind of sucks, because it's like, these people like put in time and effort into these, and maybe it'd be nice to like acknowledge that. Anyway, obviously, yeah, legal stuff, nice logo goes. They have Arcane Library has released, I believe, some logos and stuff for people who want to make Shadowdark content. Which, so that's really nice, or at least have that's come out through Kickstarter. I know they also have a YouTube channel where they have a bunch of stuff, which again I is something I would should probably check more, but yeah, I barely check things as it is. Anyway, okay, contents. Honestly, I'm really impressed that a lot of this stuff only takes up like 1 to 2 pages of content, and it's all really, really broken down. It's really easy to find whatever you're looking for, probably. Hey, what? Okay. Sorry, OBS was freaked out for a minute. Okay. Until it gets like there are big chunks where it's like okay, the list of spells that's going to take up a number of a good chunk of pages. That's like 20 pages of a 330 page PDF. So that's going to take a good bit of chunk. General rules and stuff, again, straightforward. We'll get to the GM stuff. Those things to just go get into. Da 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 da. Not even gonna. There is a lot of stuff that this does include, which is probably a little surprising for an OSR thing, like random encounter tables based on different environments. That's kind of cool. I'm not sure I would have expected that. I don't know. No, maybe I'm not into enough OSR stuff, but hey, that's not too bad. Quick things about monsters, like okay, here's how monsters work. Here's how you can literally just roll on a couple tables to create new monsters, or at least come up with a new idea for monsters and design monsters and whatnot. And then we have like 70 pages of monster stats. And then treasure stuff sometimes broken down by level, and then getting into like okay, here's what different magic items and whatnot, and then here's a list of various magic items that takes up about 20 odd pages. Cool. All right, moving on. And yeah, I don't know if it's every chapter, but every big chunk, I think, yeah, every like large chapter has a little bit of fiction. There's nice, I think, dealing with the experience of a group of 4 adventurers who I believe are included in some of the. I don't know. I'm actually going to check this. Let's see. Wow, they made 12. Good grief. They've actually released 12. Let's see. Relina. I feel like at least maybe. Okay, yeah, these are included in the quick starts. These are the quick start characters. So we have, let's see, Ingra, the half-orc priest. Relina is a halfling thief. Krieg is a human wizard, and let's see, was it Jorben? Okay, Jorben is a dwarf fighter. Very nice. Anyway, Yeah. Oh, this. What is it? What is it? What's this? Okay, so yeah. Right. Here's the big thing. Yeah. This is what kind of yeah, rules light and intuitive, encourages quick decisions rather than hunting through rulebooks for answers. It really is. Like a lot of stuff feels honestly reading through some of the rules is really fairly they tend to be pretty straightforward, which is great. Or really very simple so it doesn't require like well how's it it's or making it on the on kind of on the fly. And this is honestly one of the really neat, interesting things that really kind of drew my attention. In the game, Torch only holds back pressing darkness for 1 hour of real world time. So that is really nice. It provides like a real world reason. It's a reason to like, okay, we need to keep moving. Okay, because that's something else to note about these different player characters in this game. Player characters do not have dark vision. There's a reason this game is called Shadowdark, and it's because, hey, yeah, it's dark. You go into these dungeons, you go into the dank dungeon, and hey, guess what? You're carrying your light source with you, and however many you brought, that's how long you have. All right. Okay. Basics again. If you've played D&D or any similar game, you basically know what this is, how this works. You have a turn. Something. Yeah. Okay. Again, it's. Yeah. So movement of roughly 30 feet. Near constitutes about 30 feet. That's if you're using a tabletop. If you're using a map, which hey, never hurts, especially in a dungeon, since this game is very explicitly designed to be like for running a dungeon crawl. So short, quick. Okay, we're in, we're out, da da da. You know, that's all this is. That's really what this is all about. But you could still potentially do this very theater of the mind style and go like, okay, near is what's near? Near is 30 feet. Easy. No, that's it. I was looking through it earlier today, and I didn't even notice this that the idea of okay, turn order goes basically start with the GM and then go clockwise from there, which is I didn't even realize that because also this game kind of has an always on initiative, so it's like okay, and it's not necessarily like okay how much time is in a round or how much time does it take up. It's like it's more like okay, this is a way to just keep things moving. Okay, everybody gets to do like one thing and then we move on. Dice, obviously, if you've played any role-playing game, you understand. Dice, stats, again, same classic six. Checks are, roll d20, add your stat modifier, meets it, beats it. Very straightforward. Hit points. Again, you have your hit die. Interesting thing. You only add your Constitution bonus at first level, which is both good, which can be good or it can be bad. If you're one of those really squishy types who ends, but we'll get into how that can be good or bad in a bit when we actually get to stuff. And hey, look, it's our adventuring party. Lovely. Okay, getting into actually making characters. All right. So again, all the stuff. How do you make a character? What do you do? All the stuff you need to cover is covered in like 2 pages. honestly, 1.5, because half of a page is taken up by another very nice piece of artwork. All right. So obviously, yeah, sure. Name, maybe. I don't know. I would honestly come up with naming a character. I'm always like naming character last. Shadowdark goes with the very trendy decision and very kind of nice decision to go with ancestry instead of terms like race. So ancestry is, hey, wow, uh, who were your parents? What's all that stuff? So that's kind of cool, or at least that's a nice bit of change. Terminology, class is obvious. Yes, there are rules for starting at 0 level, which is kind of which I'm pretty sure is something taken from Dungeon Crawl Classics, but it's at the very least it's an interesting idea that might be worth trying if you are into the idea of playing a group of characters. Hey, Valerie, welcome in. Been going at this for a little while. Sorry, but yes, interesting. Yes, interesting. Yes. But yeah, there are rules in Shadowdark for for literally playing a someone who literally is like a peasant who just picked up a sword or something and tries to go out on and become an actual adventurer. Good luck. Uh, yeah, XP. We'll get into that potentially later. Trying to think of why I'd want to start at 0. Well, I mean, this is an OSR game, so it's a little more tough. It's a little more. It's a little tougher. It's a little hard. It's a little more like. It, it's not. It's maybe a little less hand holdy. It's a little less safe in some ways, but yeah, you know, or like first starting at 0 level is like, okay, you don't technically have a character class, so maybe you have an idea for a character, but you don't necessarily know what class you want to go for. Maybe, I don't know. That's an idea. Uh, this bit's actually kind of cool title. Uh, this is a combination based on your class and your alignment. You get a different title. You get different titles. This is a throwback to like first edition, maybe second edition. I don't think second. I don't know. They might have dropped it for second edition D&D, but like way back when different levels of classes had different titles, and I don't know. Interesting. Backgrounds there tend to be pretty vague actually, and it's a lot like big thing is it tends to be very free form and very much like you have this background, you need to you need to maybe ask the DM or GM, you know, am I good at this or that? Stats, obviously, hit point. You know what those are. Hit points, again, how long it's going to take for you to die. Armor class, different weapon attacks. Talents, which are little benefits you get at certain levels. Other games might call them feats. But there's a lot less of them, and they're all kind of based on what class you are. And I don't think there are no rules for multi-classing, but I'm sure you could potentially figure some out if you really maybe potentially kludge some together, although I don't know why you would want to, especially considering that this game caps you at level 10. Some get spells, equipment, gear, etc. All right. So yeah, yeah, 0 level character. There is. It's yeah. You start at level 0. You have your stats, you have your ancestry, you have your con modifier in hit points with a minimum of 1. Good luck. You have a background, you potentially have an alignment, and some starting gear. Was looking at the starting gear list. It's not terribly impressive. I'm just gonna say that. But you do have something called beginner's luck, which I think is like a pool of stuff you can add to a roll or something. I don't know. Or yeah, the gauntlet. That's always it's either promising or terrifying. But once you finish level 0, you reach first level. You finish an adventure and you become you're a real adventurer now. So you have an actual class level and more stuff. If you're starting at first level, which is not quite so, is slightly less daunting. You have all that stuff. Hit points equal to a roll of your hit die plus your con modifier. So, yay. Background alignment, a title, and you have starting gear as well, but you do not. It's not quite as bad. Stats, these work. It works the same as they do in 5th edition, third edition D&D. It's math works out the same. It's nice. You have all the same 6 stats. They're all pretty straightforward. Ancestries. Got a couple of the classics plus Goblin, and you note that Ancestries, honestly, nothing. Let me see. There is no. So Ancestries only give you 2 languages and 1 other little bonus. So dwarves start with 2 extra hit points and advantage on rolling hit points at second level. Goblins can't be surprised, which is something good to have when, again, nobody in the party has dark vision. Period. So, somebody sneaks up on you, hey, and, monsters sneak up on you, hey, wow, you might be able to act, unlike literally everybody else in the party. Elves get a bonus to attack rolls with ranged weapons and a bonus to spellcasting checks. We'll get into that if we get to the classes, at least. Half-orcs get a bonus to damage attack and damage rolls with melee weapons, which that's kind of nice. Hey, Mur! Welcome. We're honestly just getting into the been going for a little while, but we're just finally getting into the meat of this of Shadowdark, this lovely old school Renaissance revival, whatever OSR stands for, game that I put some links to further up in the chat. Link to the Arcane Library, who published this, as well as the quick start rules, which are enough to run up to level 3, which is given that the game has a level cap of 10, it ain't nothing. Last 2 ancestries. Halfling, hey, you can become invisible for a couple rounds. That's nice. Once a day. And humans gain an extra talent, which, again, so many, certain other games, is oh, right, cool. Human gets an extra feat at first level to kind of make up for, which, admittedly, human in this, compared to everything else, is really not nearly as vanilla, or at least not nearly as unimpressive as in some other games, because you got other games, so it's okay, that's a little more, that's kind of significant. More lovely arts. Okay, now we're getting into classes. Woot woot. Okay. Fighter. Fighter is a fighter. Fighter. There's 4 classes. There's some other classes available in the magazine that you can buy again. Also buy from Arcane Library. They have, I think there's like 3 magazines, and each of them has like 2 more classes in them. But the base game, the classes are fighter, priest, rogue, and wizard. So that kind of covers all the bases, more or less. Fighter, typical fighter stuff. They know how to use all the weapons. They know how to wear all the armor. They have the most hit die. They have the biggest hit die with a whole D8. Oh boy. D8. Hauler. This is kind of neat because this kind of gets into some later stuff, but Shadowdark does something that I've seen a number of other games do, and which I very much like, in that inventory is no longer an issue of like actual weight. Like, yeah, there is some inventory management, but it's less based on like how much weight you can carry and more based on, okay, how many slots of stuff can you carry. And in this case, I believe it's like either 10 slots or your strength score in slots, in inventory slots. But, hey, fighters are special because they get to add their constitution modifier to how much stuff they can carry. They get weapon mastery, which gives a +1 to attack and damage with a particular weapon type, and that goes up as they level up. And grit, which gives them advantage on strength or dex checks, which is potentially very nice. So again, some games go like, oh yeah, fighters are fairly vanilla, but it's like, hey, fighters, fighters might only be able to do like one thing, but they're really good at this one thing. They're really good at hitting things and doing damage. So that's pretty nice. And here we have an example of the talent list. It's literally a table. Roll 2d6. These are what you get. These are potential options. Bonus to attacks, another weapon mastery, boost to 1 ability score, extra a bonus to AC for a type of armor, or pick 2. Yeah, I like swords. Exactly. It's really simple. Fighters are simple, but they work. All right. Okay, priest. Priest is, unsurprisingly, priests are, they're the cleric-y types. They're the healer. They're spellcasters. They noticeably have a much less, somewhat limited selection of weapon proficiencies. It's not the smallest list of weapon proficiencies we'll see, but it's a bit of a drop down from, anything and everything. They can still use all armor and shield. They only have a D6. Their hit die is only a D6. They do get some bonus languages, or a bonus language. One of the weird languages. Turn Undead is treated as a spell in this game, but you get it for free, so it's kind of weird. And we'll get into spellcasting in a bit, possibly. Obviously, as a priest, you have to pick a deity, and it, has to be a deity that matches your alignment, because it'd be weird if it didn't. You start out. Sorry, scrolling down real quick. Here's the priest. Okay. Spellcasting. again, just like Tales of the Valiant, they changed. It's no longer spell level, it's spell tier, which again is much less confusing. So, okay, a level 1 priest. Okay, you know tier 2 tier 1 spells from the priest spell list, and you gain more so and you gain a new spell every time you level. There's a whole table on the next page, and yeah, we'll get to casting in a bit. Again, talents, generally some useful stuff. Probably gonna get like a bonus to spell casting or a bonus to melee or ranged attacks. So, yeah, priests, as much as they're healers, they're also very clearly sort of your second line combatants, again, which is very old school design mentality. But, unlike in, say, first edition or whatever, priests can actually cast spells at first level, which is nice. Again, nice little bit of artwork with our dwarfy priest dude turning some undead. The thief. It's an actual thief. Sorry, I think I said rogue before, but yeah. Again, notice an even smaller list of weapon proficiencies. And also, you can only wear 2 types of armor. Admittedly, there's between 3 and 5. If there's 5 if you count mithril chainmail and mithril plate, but otherwise it's wow. Congratulations, you can wear leather armor. Yeah. Hope you're not planning on getting hit anytime soon, especially because you only have a D4 hit die. Yikes. So yeah, thief is very much the glass cannon, because while really really low hit points, you do deal extra you do add if you do manage to get the drop on an enemy, you basically get to roll 2 or more dice of damage on the attack. So, not that's nothing to sneeze at. And, again, given this is OSR, we're trying to simplify things. You're a thief. You know how to do thiefy things. Here's a list of thiefy things you might know how to do, like climbing, sneaking and hiding, putting on a disguise, finding and disabling traps, picking locks, or opening locks and picking pockets. You just know how to do stuff, so you obviously have advantage when you roll to do stuff like that. Makes perfect sense. No clunky rules, no specific skill rolls, just like, yeah, of course you're proficient in that. You're a thief. Again, thief talent list, you're most likely to either deal even more damage on a backstab or get a bonus to a stat. Yeah. Yeah. Second story rogues. Yeah, just climbing in all kinds of places, doing all kinds of stuff. And hey, look, we have art of a thief doing thiefy things. Namely, hey, look, there's a chest down there. Maybe it's locked. Maybe it's trapped. Check it out. That's your job. And finally, wizards. Wizards, they can use exactly 2 weapons. Yikes. No armor proficiencies. D4 hit die for hit dice. But they do get 4 extra languages. So that's that's potentially that kind of interesting and useful. Unlike priests, wizards can actually learn spells, and those don't count against their spells known. Always wonder why they decided daggers and stabs are the way for wizards. I think it's because they're like just that simple to use, presumably. Like it doesn't take too much skill to like take a knife and just stab somebody with it, or like just take a big stick and whack somebody with it. I don't know. No, mostly it's might also be like these are also weapons that maybe don't do a ton of damage. So anyway, so yeah, wizards, unlike priests, can actually learn spells like in the field, like without having to level up first, which is very nice. Yeah, does take time, but you know, well, they're common, not rockets. Yeah, I know, right? It's go figure. Yeah, using a stick and a dagger. Yeah, it's not rocket surgery. But anyway, so yeah, wizard spells again, very much the same. You start with 3 spells from the wizard spell list, which is nice. Gain more as you level up, and we'll get to casting in a bit. Here's the spells again. Level cap of 10, so you're only gonna get so powerful. But still, and wizard talents again. Probably they you're really likely to get a bonus to either your spell casting checks or your intelligence stat. So, you know, that's kind of nice. And I wish that this was laid out properly so I could do the 2-page thing. Like, hold on, let me see. Can I do? Where is page display? Yeah. So yeah, I really wish they had this had lined up properly because you know clearly this is like supposed to be on the outside. This little bar here, but unfortunately it's not. So this lovely bit of artwork where we have this goblin wizard casting, you know, a thing across 2 pages is sadly lost. Is sadly doesn't quite work in the PDF. Oh well. Anyway, backgrounds. I like it's neat that they include backgrounds are included. There's a list of 20 of them. It's pretty vague as to what that means. You're gonna kind of have to figure that out, but you know, work with the GM to figure out what that means. So you know, hey, you're an herbalist. Here's some things you know about. Maybe you know some. Maybe this is applicable in this situation. Maybe not. You know, it's a lot more freeform, which again is kind of cool. Alignment. Again, this is one of those things that's maybe kind of important. That is, well, alignment I would say is important. Deities, which is on the next section, maybe not so much. But yeah, again, going back to old school stuff, very old school. It's law, chaos, and neutral. Which, I mean, I get it's definitely it. I've had some mixed feelings about that, especially because it's but you know, especially when we get into this bit, I don't like that because that's basically saying okay, law is good, chaos is evil, and it's like that's not great. I kind of don't understand why that's there, especially because then we get into this where it makes a little more sense. Like okay, chaos is you know maybe a little more like okay, I like this survival of the fittest. It's like okay, I'm not being me. It's like you know, it's not a I'm out to get you. It's just like you know, you need to stand on your own, and you don't depend on other people. You need to be able to do your own. You know, you need to be able to stand on your own and not depend on other people to help you out, whereas law is like, put the good of the, the good of the put the community, putting the team, that kind of stuff that makes sense to me. Like, okay, you can potentially have two of these people, a lawful and a chaotic. You can have a chaotic character who is not necessarily evil, and you can have a lawful character who's not necessarily good. So I don't know. It's yeah. And again, neutral is kind of you know, stuff happens, whatever. Uh, there are a list of deities in this game, although obviously I think you could probably make up your own. They list four, or they list seven. Two lawful, two lawful, two neutral, and three chaotic. They're vaguely defined, but it's like it's enough to go like, okay, sure. Would if you want, if you don't feel like the kind of person who could come up make up your own deity or whatever, you could go with one of these and probably have a decent, you know, pick something that makes sense, or go with the lost, which are apparently like, right, there used to be 9 gods, but now there are only 7, which is interesting. And I kind of hope the Arcane Library releases some stuff about that, because that seems really interesting. Nice, again, more nice artwork. And here's where the alignment thing actually becomes kind of important, kind of matters for your character, because your alignment determines your title. Because if you are a fighter, your class and your alignment determines title stuff, and it's more, maybe more for like flavor, but sure, it's neat. Like, hey, what being, what's the difference between being, say, a cavalier versus a barbarian, or uh, acolyte versus an initiate, that kind of thing. It's a neat little detail. It maybe gives you reason to think about, like, okay, what kind of, maybe this is the kind of character I'm playing. I feel like, admittedly, some of the thief titles are like, okay, what's the difference between some of these? Like, I guess, okay, chaotic is more like, right, yeah, I'm gonna like stab you, whereas lawful is like, I'm gonna rob you and or uh you know extort you for money. Yeah, wizard titles definitely, lawful definitely seems to lean more toward like, okay, I'm the court wizard, whereas the chaos is more like crazy evil, dealing with dark powers and whatnot. That's kind of fun. uh okay, languages, I guess, if you're interested in that kind of thing, there's a decent list, or at least a more than I would have expected, especially gets given that there's both common and rare. Just, I don't know, it's kind of nice. Okay, so starting gear. Remember when I said 0 level? Okay, cool. Roll a d4. Roll. You get. You're starting at the character at level 0. You get d4 rolls on the gear table, and yeah, again, not super impressive. Good luck. You're going to be grabbing. You're going to hopefully be killing a goblin or whatever, and taking the goblin's gear. It's yeah. Conversely, a level 1 character, you start with 2d6 times 5 gold and buy your stuff from there. Go from there. Armor class, obviously, as in 5e, it's okay, it's 10 plus your dex mod, and then modified by whatever armor you're wearing. Uh, I didn't even notice this. Yeah, 0 level PCs can't even use armor. So that's fun. Got a quick list of some non-fighty, non-combat related gear because, this being an OSR game, yeah, actually think about here's some stuff. What could I maybe use this for? Is encouraged. As well as arrows, which see arrows and crossbow bolts, which admittedly I generally don't care to track, but if I were to run this game, I might actually do that, just for the sake of ammunition and rations and stuff. That might because just for the vibe. And obviously, hey, here's how much this stuff costs. Here's how many slots it. Here's how much it takes up how much you get per slot. So yeah, grabbing a backpack if you have the gold to spare, grabbing a backpack probably not a bad idea. Just so you don't have to carry all your crap. Yes, money does in fact take up space in your inventory. I think, yeah, what is it? Yeah. Rations 1 to 3 rations, iron 1 to 10 spikes take up a slot, 1 to 10 gems. I think, yeah, torches each take up a single inventory slot, so, yikes. Yeah. And obviously, yeah. Gear slots, here we are. I mentioned this earlier. You can carry a number of items equal to your strength stat or 10, whichever is higher. It's a very simplified inventory system, but I like it, and I hope and I see like in Breath of the Wild. Yeah. Yeah, kinda. But without the okay, you can have this many weapon without breaking it down into melee weapons and shields and other stuff. You have 10 slots of stuff. And I think that includes anything you wear. So good times. Unless not at all gear. Okay. I do like that they set this a crawling kit for 7 gold, which is, I'm not sure, but I think it actually does work out to actually all the individual pieces of this cost 7 gold total. But so hey, it's a good investment that anybody can carry. Any first level character might be, hey, pick up a crawling kit if you have the cash to spare, which admittedly you might not, especially given some of the other equipment, because 2d6 times 5, even if you're 2d6 times 5, even if you roll max, you're probably not going to want to go buy that chainmail, because that's a lot, because that's all your money. If you're a fighter or a priest, you're gonna want to go with, you're gonna be going with the leather armor and a shield. Good luck with that. Again, like at the front of the book, we have a list of various weapons, and yeah, all the stuff that here's all the stuff that fighters can definitely use, along with all the stuff that everybody else can use and stuff that they can't use but get to look at and go, "Aww." You know, again, it's not a huge list of weapons, but it's again OSR. You're not looking at a lot of complicated stuff, and honestly, you don't need a lot. I feel like you don't really need a ton of stuff if we're being honest. Good grief. And there's obviously a couple little notes at the bottom for his things. There's tables. There's a table of names if you want to roll up a name because you can't think of a name. Everybody get leveling up. This is really neat. So yeah, let's see. Feels like you can sort of categorize other stuff as most of these. Yeah, with regards to weapons, yeah, probably. Like, yeah, anything else? Any other weapons you might? Hey, coming up with themes. Yeah, I know. I honestly tend to. Yeah, no. For the weapons, like, yeah, anything else that people might be like, oh, well, I want to use this or that. It's like, yeah, you could probably figure. You could probably look at one of these and go like, yeah, that sounds about right. Sure. And even then, it's like, eh. Most of this stuff is, yeah, this is going to cover a lot of your bases. So, yeah. Anyway, experience points. It's all very simple. You level up when you get your level times 10 XP. And you gain XP by getting treasure. Because it's very old school in that way. It's yes, gold gold and valuables are XP. Yeah, yes, names are indeed hard. uh, but every time you level up, you when you level up, your XP resets. So it's not just okay. You need another 10. You reach level 2, and now you need another 10 XP to reach level 3. It's like no, you need 20. You need double what you just got. And I believe it's like it doesn't necessarily matter who has the treasure. It's more like, okay, the group has gathered treasure. Everybody gets a point of experience XP. Everybody gets an experience point. Cool. New stuff when you do that. When you level up, every odd level, you get to roll another talent. So again, that's kind of nice. Although talent list is not extensive, but it's nice. You do not add your Constitution modifier on hit points after first level, which is good if you happen to have a negative Constitution modifier. It's not so good if you don't have that, and I believe stats are determined if you want. I think. Sorry, I'm having to jump all the way back on this. I really should. I don't think I covered it at the time, but yeah. Doing stats. Yeah. Roll 3d6 in order. Potentially, and but hey, if you don't have a 14 or higher, then sure, start fresh. So there's a decent chance that you will have at least one ability score that has a negative modifier to it. And if it's your Constitution, good thing that's only going to happen at level 1. Yeah. And here's, sure, if you want to roll up a random character, here's what you can do. You roll up an ancestry at random, roll a class at random. Random. If they're a priest, sure. Roll on the table to pick some spells. Roll for a deity. Roll languages. Roll more languages. Alignment. If they're a wizard, here's a list of wizard spells. Roll on that. And yeah, level 0 character. Oh, okay. Huh. Didn't even realize that. Okay, here's the here for a random first level character. You're rolling up. So, and here's random stuff that they might have. Level 0 character might have if they're a level 0 character. More awesome artwork. And good grief, we're not even like a third of the way through this book already. But okay. Probably not going to get into the GM stuff. Okay. I'm going to try and do it quick. Okay. Spellcasting, fairly simple. You don't even have spell slots, which is kind of nice. What do you do? Nice. So what do you do instead? You roll a d20 plus your casting modifier, which is intelligence if you're a wizard, wisdom if you're a priest. You need to beat a DC of 10 plus whatever the tier of the spell is. And if you do, congratulations, which is why, you have those spellcasting rolls, bonuses to spellcasting rolls, which can be really nice and handy. But because things get interesting because you don't have spell slots, so you can potentially cast spells as many times as you want unless you fail. And at that point it's like, okay, well, if you fail, you literally cannot cast that spell again until you finish a rest. So that's kind of neat. So yeah, you can keep casting spells, but all it takes is one failure, and congratulations, you're down a spell. Critical success, double effect. Maintains effect on a focus spell until your next focus check. Okay. Critical failure. Oh dear. One failure improve. Well, you fail the roll one time and you can't cast that spell again until you take a rest. So, be kind of careful, but it comes back. So, it's at least it's interesting at least. But it gets really interesting though when you get into the critical failures. So, okay. If it's a priest spell, okay, you've done something to offend or otherwise displease your deity. And not only can you not cast that spell again, you need to perform penance. Which, is potentially something the GM decides presumably includes a sacrifice of some value. Wizards are more interesting because I've mentioned Dungeon Crawl. I think I mentioned Dungeon Crawl Classics before. That's where they probably got the level 0 character and the gauntlet from. Wizards have a mishap table. They have multiple mishap tables. Here's what stuff that can happen at fairly low levels. You take D8 damage. It just kind of explodes in your face. Target a random ally with the spell. Spell Worm. Lose the ability to cast a random spell on each of your turns until you pass a Constitution check. Regain the ability to cast those spells after completing a rest. Oh dear. The Horror. You scream uncontrollably for 3 rounds in Primordial, drawing lots of attention. Unstable conduit. You have disadvantage on casting spells of the same tier for 10 rounds. Yikes. And I mentioned this earlier, but before you guys showed up, this game kind of has an always-on initiative because it's very much designed as a dungeon crawler. So 10 rounds, that could be a while. That could be a long while, and those are just the tier 1, tier 2 spells. It's, yeah. Ethereal Bandersnatch. 2 random pieces of your gear disappear forever. You open a 30-foot sinkhole in the ground with you at the center. You and all near creatures must pass a DC 15 Dex check or fall in. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. It's... Yeah. So, yeah, magic in this game, wizard magic, can be particularly dangerous if you mess up. Luckily, this stuff only happens on a critical fail. Oh, fun. Tier 5. Open a magic portal to another location, whether on this plane or another. Something dreadful will come through in D4 rounds unless you close it with a DC 18 intelligence check on your turn. Oh, fun. That's fun. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, scrolls and wands. Let's see. Pass spell check again, same as using the item costs the same as casting a spell regularly. Scrolls are... Oh, wow. Scrolls just go away after it's used once. Whether or not you succeed or fail, it's gone. Wands... But wands... Okay, wands just kind of stop. Yeah. Spell check. Yeah. Yep. There you go. Critical failure, the wand breaks and permanently ceases to work. Yikes. Neat. Okay, spell attributes, tier, range, duration, focus, overlapping effects, da 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 da. I believe focus is basically concentration, which there's no limit, I believe. I don't know, we're gonna have to check, but the lists are not especially, the list of spells per tier are not especially long. Some games are very punishing. Well, yeah. Yeah. But hey, this is what you get for not having to worry about like tracking how many spell slots you have. You can cast Magic Missile as many times a day as you want, but if you mess up, something bad might happen. Wizard spell list looks very much the same, very similar. Let me see. Their focus spell. Okay. Okay. So yeah, focus spells are, they just keep going as long as you maintain focus. Make a spell casting check at the start of your turn as if you were casting the spell. Okay, if success, it remains in effect. Okay, so that's kind of nice. There, certain spells just keep going as long as you maintain focus on them, whereas others have specific time limits, etc. Gonna skip. There's a nice, respectable list of spells. And okay, gameplay again. Yeah. Advantage, roll twice. Twice, take the better option. Disadvantage, roll twice, take the worse option. And yeah. luck. This is something I had completely forgotten about. So yeah, you did something cool or whatever, or you made the GM happy, so you get a luck token that you can use a luck token to re-roll. To do a re-roll. Roll. Okay. Or let someone else do a re-roll. Okay. I completely forgot that. Um, so yeah, there's no list of skills unlike in say 5th edition, but it all kind of boils down to, make an ability check. It's all fairly straightforward. Word. Here's a quick list of various DCs. Yeah. And again, uh you guys weren't here when I mentioned this, but very interesting, neat thing about this: uh, light sources, light sources, which your characters need to see because again, nobody has any dark vision. Again, last for 1 hour of real time. So in-game time, that torch could last. How long a torch lasts is kind of vague. Times minute, etc., etc. It's kind of an always on initiative just to make sure everybody gets to do something and take their time, keep things moving. Yeah. Shadowdark's played with turn order right from the start, beginning of the game. GM establishes initiative, roll d20, add your dex mod. First roll twice, player turn. Take an action or move. You can move, whatever. Yada yada yada. Yeah. And again, it's a dungeon crawler, so it's mostly about crawling through dungeons and fighting stuff. Yeah. You fight stuff, you move to the next room, you find stuff. Maybe you find some treasure and get some experience. Yay. Current GM asks players they want to regroup with eyesight at earshots. Immediately move within near of each other. Initiative continues as normal. Okay. Yeah. Resting. Yep. And danger level determines how often the GM rolls for random encounters. Fun times. I think. Yeah. Campfire. Stealth and surprise. Combat works as you would expect. Their action. Damage, morale, death. And yeah. And there's also rules for like doing overland travel if you want to try and incorporate that in. There's also some stuff for downtime in here, which is kind of neat, including, hey, here you want to hang out and do some carousing at town or whatever. That's fun. Cool. You can have different stuff happen. And hey, wow, here's an actual in-game gambling dice game that I haven't even looked at because it's like, what? Okay. And your example of play. That's very nice. That goes on for several pages. More lovely art. And then we get into the Game Master section, which takes up about 2/3 of the book. And I'm not going to delve into it because it is 10 o'clock and I have work in the morning. But yeah, so that is Shadowdark. That is the game Shadowdark. It's fun. Like I've said, been saying a couple times. It's basically if you are used to fifth edition, but maybe want to try out some OSR type stuff, it might be worth giving a shot. Give it a look. There is the publisher's website, the Arcane Library. You can obviously pick it up there. If you're not entirely sure you want to spend the money to buy the actual full rule book, which is totally fair, absolutely. Oh, hey, tell them I say hi back. Cool. And if you're maybe not interested in buying the actual rule book itself, you can go to DriveThruRPG and pick up the quick start stuff that'll give you a free dungeon and rules for making characters and doing stuff up to level 3, which is not too bad, especially given this, again, level cap of 10. So like we're giving you about a third of the rules, enough to play a pretty decent length bit of stuff. But anyway, as I'm saying, yeah, I need to be crawling into bed because unfortunately I have work in the morning. Bleh. All right. But thanks Valerie and Mur for showing up. I really do. Again, I might do more of this. I'm gonna try and make this a regular thing. I don't know what I'm gonna be doing next week. I might eventually transition into actually playing streaming a different game. Oh my god! And then you'll feel really embarrassed because you're coming in late. But anyway, be back tomorrow with more Dragon Age Origins, digging into the deep roads and whatnot. Otherwise, come back for that. Otherwise, see you in the archives. I'm Librarian Writer Geek on YouTube. So, yeah, okay. Night. Bye.